WrestleMania 41 has come and gone, and it is officially over. We are done with that. And with that, obviously, as a content creator, I have to just talk about it. Everyone's giving their takes, everyone's giving their thoughts and their feelings, and now I gotta give mine. So before we officially get on the road to WrestleMania 42, here's my reactions to WrestleMania 41. What I will say is this is going to be off the cuff, off the dome. It's probably not going to be PG. So if you're young, and I'm very sorry for the words I'm about to say. So to start off, before anything, I just have to talk about the stage. I thought the stage was fantastic. The reveal was awesome. Everybody was calling it the greatest of all time, but I really wanted to wait a second and truly give my thoughts on it and see it in action before I actually said, oh, this is the GOAT. This is the masterpiece we've all been looking for. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. What I didn't really like about it is that it is a copy of the WrestleMania 39. It's just slightly bigger. It just added a little bit of buildings. But other than that, would I put it in the top 10? Probably, because of just, it is a nice stage. Not the greatest. That's my opinion on that. Still put it in masterpiece, though. I'll give it that. But another thing is the whole setting of the stadium, of Allegiant Stadium. It is a fantastic setting, beautiful lighting. If you've seen some of the pictures on Twitter, actual photography pictures that were taken during WrestleMania are beautiful. Like, the setting behind it is fantastic. Highly recommend them. Probably the most beautiful pictures I think I've ever seen from WrestleMania. But now let's actually get into the show. Jey Uso versus Gunther. I thought this match was pretty obvious of what was going to happen. Jey Uso was going to win, I think, the whole time. But the match was fine. I didn't expect it to be the top 5 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I didn't expect it to be anything like that. But I do think that this match is severely overhated, at least on Twitter. And I understand Twitter is a different world where it is just fueled by toxicity and all that shit. So on Twitter, people hated this match. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought the match was fine. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And I did enjoy like a crazy Jey Uso, because that's kind of what we were getting throughout the match, was Jey Uso not being afraid of Gunther. And I think it told a decent story. I don't even think he threw one super kick. So I think he kind of wrestled his best match. One thing that I don't like is when they do these West Coast WrestleManias is it's still daytime during the show. And I don't like that at all. I feel like it doesn't hit like that when it's still light out. Even though it's a dome, it's got the sunroof, so the light is still shining through, so you could just tell it's daytime. And I think, for me, that kills the vibe of a lot of stuff. Like, a Jey Uso entrance has to be in the dark, so they could do all the lights and all that stuff, and I think it just hits better. So that's just a little nitpick for you. The match itself, I think Jey Uso wrestled probably his best match ever. For Gunther, it was just a mid-match for him, but it is what it is. They did what they had to do to make Jey Uso win. I feel like it was more impactful when Jey won the IC title versus him winning the championship at WrestleMania. That's just how I feel. I didn't think the crowd was really that into it, and I thought the crowd overall for night one kind of sucked. What I didn't like is that Gunther tapped, and he tapped really fast, and people were comparing him to when he fought Ilya Dragunov and he tapped really quick. That's fine. Ilya Dragunov is a different beast versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso should not make anybody tap. I just think it would have hit better if he hit the 1, 2, 3 versus a tap, and a very quick tap. I didn't like that. Happy for Jey Uso. We're now officially in Yeet Mania, 1-0 on the night. Next, this match legitimately pissed me off, was War Raiders versus the New Day, because I picked the War Raiders to win because I expected something big to happen with the New Day, maybe with Big E or something like that. But the very second that the War Raiders came out dressed like Clash of Clan characters, the whole match was sponsored by Clash of Clan, I'm like, great, we're fucked. And that's exactly what it was. The match, again, was fine. What, do I think it was WrestleMania worthy? Not really. But the match was okay. New Day steals a win, and they get the fuck up out of there. Someone said this before, but New Day literally won and ran out the stadium, and I feel like they did that because I feel like if they hung around for a little bit, people would expect Big E to show up, and they didn't want that. So this match was just a dud. I had no idea that that's what they were going to fucking do, but I picked the War Raiders, so 1-1 on the night. Very unfortunate. Next, we had Jade versus Naomi in a match that was pretty damn good and really entertaining. I think both of these women did a fantastic job. Naomi carried the match, but Jade Cargill did her best and did a fantastic job in the ring performing. I thought this match should have been a no DQ match. I feel like they made this mistake how they did with Triple H versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25. Yeah, Naomi smashed Jade through a car. Jade returns at her Elimination Chamber and attacks her. And then they had some pretty damn good build-up leading to this. It just should have been a no DQ or something like that. And I think by this point, WrestleMania was missing that. But all things considered, I enjoyed this match a lot. To this point in time, it's the match of the night. Jade Cargill did a really sick powerbomb in the match. And one thing that everybody was talking about, of course, is that Jade Cargill had a wardrobe malfunction, and people were saying it's a nip slip. You fucking idiots. It was a pasty. And that just goes to show you how wrestling fans never get Never mind. The match was very good. I enjoyed that match a lot. I think both those women deserve to be there. And in also a historic match, I think this is the first singles women's match where there was no title on the line and it wasn't like a quick 5-minute match. Like when I grew up, the only thing we got with women were just bra and panties matches and 2-minute matches. So to see it now in 2025 getting full-blown matches, full-blown feuds is always just a great thing to see. And I enjoyed it a lot. 2-1 on the night. Next up was LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu in a match that I was terrified for because I was so sure that this match was most likely going to be a squash match, and I was just praying to God that we just didn't get LA Knight to get destroyed by Jacob Fatu. And don't get me wrong, Jacob Fatu is a bona fide star, but so is the megastar. And they put on a great match. I think this was actually unexpected, and I think this surprised a lot of people because there's this people on Twitter that just are convinced that LA Knight can't wrestle. And I don't understand that because especially at pay-per-views and PLEs, he does his damn thing. His match catalog at PLEs is pretty good, which I didn't think he had to, but he still proved a lot of people wrong. It was very back and forth, and it made LA Knight look much stronger than expected because he was going against Jacob Fatu, who's a beast. And I think this was a win-win match for both of them because both of them left with higher stock than when they walked in. And their stock was already pretty freaking high. And we had an awesome BFT backflip from Jacob Fatu. I thought that was pretty cool. But even though Jacob Fatu won, LA Knight also won because I think this helped him tremendously. I think the move right now is you draft LA Knight to Raw and you get him in that Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship picture because I think he deserves it. Even if it's just for a brief moment in time. He deserves that moment. He's earned it, and I think he deserves it. And I feel bad for whoever wants to challenge Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship because that man is going to make the U.S. title look like $1 million. It is going to be a great run for Jacob Fatu because he's going to demolish people and make it super important. Couldn't be happier for the both of them. Unfortunately, LA Knight lost, but we're 3-1 on the night. And next we had El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. And before I even talk about this match, I am tired of the people complaining about El Grande Americano because they're calling it a racist gimmick, a parody of lucha wrestling, a mockery of Mexicans and all that. Can we stop? Can we shut up? I'm Hispanic, so I could say this. Just shut the fuck up. You guys would not last in the fucking Attitude Era. You just wouldn't because this is nothing. It's just him dressed up like a lucha putting on great matches. What's the big deal? And I thought his entrance was hilarious with the Breaking Bad Mexico filter on it. I think it's hilarious. Whatever's going to get Chad Gable on the card, who cares? And I think the clear direction is that the wrestler that they featured, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, is the guy that was sitting down watching, who they mentioned a couple times. That's going to be the guy that's going to unmask Chad Gable, which is fine. So you want to keep building him and let him win and beat the Luchas so this guy could get a huge push and beat Chad Gable, unmask him, and we could go from there. That's what that is. It's not that hard to see. Originally, this was supposed to be also be Rey Mysterio, but it ended up being Rey Fenix, which super happy for Rey Fenix. I'm super glad they didn't do Dragon Lee. I don't like Dragon Lee. I think he sucks. But if I'm Dragon Lee, there's at least an interesting story now for him because he got snubbed twice at WrestleMania because of Rey Mysterio. Both times, somebody else was chosen over him. You could do actually something with Dragon Lee now that makes him somewhat decently interesting. As for Rey Fenix, pretty crazy you just signed after being like in jail forever with AEW. And now being able to finally get to WWE, and then a couple weeks later, you're on the card at WrestleMania. Pretty sick situation for him. And he came out, and they put on a great technical match. I enjoyed this match a lot. I'm not super big into like the technical aspect of wrestling. That's just not me. That's not my style. But I enjoyed watching these two go at it, and I thought they put on a great match. It was super entertaining, and I enjoy Rey Fenix a lot, along with Penta. I enjoy the both of them. Both of them in a tag team, whenever that does happen, is going to be sick. It's going to be a lot of fun. They are going to change that division, I promise you. But then you had people complaining like, oh, Rey Fenix got buried in his first WrestleMania. You guys are hilarious. He wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, and I think Chad Gable was going to win anyway. But on top of it, it's not like he lost and it was fast. He went to go do that sick move he does where he runs on the ropes and punch your head, but Chad Gable had the metal plate in his head, so he punted the metal plate, which screwed everything up. So it's not like he just lost. He lost by shenanigans, which is totally fine. I like the match. I'm happy that Chad Gable won, or El Grande Americano, and I think the story is not over between either of them, and I think we're going to get something bigger down the line. I thought this was a good match. I enjoyed this match a lot. We're also 3-1 on the night. Then we got to Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, and I was very hard on the fact that this match was going to be either really, really good or really, really bad, and I thought there was going to be no in between. But we actually kind of got the in-between from what I felt. This match was really peaks and valleys. I feel like there was a couple good moments in it, but there was more valleys than there were peaks because there was a lot of it that kind of looked sloppy and it looked a little choreographed and also just looked kind of sloppy. And I didn't enjoy that a lot. Tiffany got fucked up at one point. I think she broke her teeth. Near the end, I was like, all right, this is kind of going on for a little too long. And people were claiming that Charlotte was sandbagging at the end, and I don't know about that, but I don't really like Charlotte Flair. I'm just not really a fan of her, and I'm happy that Tiffy won. Regardless of what you felt about the match was okay. Happy Tiffy won, and we just move on. And I just don't pair these two together because they don't have great chemistry, and they don't like each other, so why even bother? So by this point in the night, people are calling this the worst WrestleMania of all time. People that say that shit, I swear, were born yesterday. Like, WrestleMania 27 exists. WrestleMania 32 exists, 33, 34, 36. A lot of the single-digit WrestleManias are bad. Like people that say that shit just started watching within the last 5 years. The matches were solid. What was missing from this WrestleMania was just the storytelling and the story building up to this point. Because a lot of the matches were really thrown together like last minute or like within the last 2 weeks before WrestleMania, which I think hurts the card a lot. The matches themselves, most of them were solid. So it's not like we had just bad match after bad match after bad match. We didn't. They're solid matches. The story was just not there for most of them. And I think that's what really hurts night one a lot. Enjoyable matches, like you can rewatch night one and it'd be fine. It's just the crowd kind of sucked too, which doesn't help anybody. But then we get to the main event of night one in the triple threat match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. Holy fucking shit. Let me just start by saying that all three entrances were fire. Seth Rollins had the sick entrance coming out in the all black, where then the screen blacks out and it turns back on and he's in all white. That was amazing. Roman Reigns comes out. First time in a long time by himself. He's got the black pants on with the white and black Jordans, with the white and black gloves. Amazing. Maybe my favorite look Roman Reigns has ever had. I just love the black pants with the white shoes. I've always loved that. I love that look. I wear like shit like that in real life. Like that's a look that I like. It just looks good. First thing I thought of was like WCW Sting, where he rarely ever did this, but I think he wore it against Diamond Dallas Page in like 97 maybe. Or 98, something like that. That's a fantastic look. It just reminds me of that. I love that. I made a video recently of my top 10 favorite entrances of all time. This might have cracked it because of the beautiful, absolutely beautiful tribute to CM Punk main eventing WrestleMania. They had a montage of his old promo where he's talking about he's drug-free, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, professional wrestling is his addiction. And then they did it. They fucking did it. They started playing This Fire Burns. And oh my God, I was fucking standing there like this by this point. I was so locked in. It was beautiful to hear that again. I kind of wish that they brought him out with it, but Living Color was going to play in live, so I get it. A nice callback to finally hear that again. Just a tribute to CM Punk, who deserves this spot 1000%. He earned this spot. That was like one of the best tribute packages to a wrestler I've ever seen, and it's fucking still crazy to say in 2025 we got CM Punk in WWE main eventing WrestleMania. That still blows my mind because in my brain, like CM Punk is still not part of WWE because it's crazy. It's still crazy to this day. To then have the visual of him coming out with the gray, with the yellow trunks and boots, like the old school CM Punk next to Paul Heyman, it felt like I was in a time machine. It was just crazy to see. So that alone, those entrances alone made this match special. And then the bell rang. I don't care about recency bias. I don't care about none of that bullshit. This might be the greatest triple threat match of all time. It just might be. That match from start to finish was amazing. And the crowd was into it. The flow of the match was great. It wasn't the let's throw one guy out and then it's 1-on-1 and then the other guy comes in and then someone else gets thrown out and it's 1-on-1 again. No, they mixed and matched everybody. It flowed super nicely. And Roman Reigns came to work. He was working that night. He was there to put on a fucking show, which is always great from Roman Reigns. We had Seth and CM Punk fighting the crowd. You had Roman jumping over barricades. You had spears. You had some callbacks in it. You had Seth trying to get Roman to help him and kind of form the Shield again for a little bit and do the Shield powerbomb through the freaking announce table, only for Roman to uppercut him, slam the shit out of Seth through the table, to then slam the shit out of CM Punk through the other table. Just the sequences and the flow of this match was beautiful. With the storytelling aspect of it and the moves and the moments, this match was absolute special. And as the kids say, cinema. To watching Paul Heyman on the side just agonize in pain because he's watching Roman get hurt. He's watching CM Punk get beat up. Just The heartstrings are torn from Paul Heyman. At one point, I thought this dude was going to have a heart attack. To then at the very end, the big old twist of him grabbing the chair, giving it to Punk, to then uppercut his nuts, to watch Roman maniacally laugh, thinking that Paul Heyman's on his side, and he finally gets another chair shot to the back, the Shield chair shot, only for Paul to low blow Roman too, and give Seth Rollins the chair, turning his back on Roman, officially ending the 5-year run of those two together, which is super bittersweet, but that story has run its course. It's done between Paul and Roman Reigns. It's time for the Roman Reigns redemption arc where he might crash out, but maybe he'll learn a couple of lessons, and maybe he won't mistreat people, and he'll become a little humble. Roman Reigns finally has something interesting to do going into this year. And of course, CM Punk is heartbroken because he got betrayed, Roman got betrayed, and now they have one common enemy in Seth Rollins, and I guess Paul Heyman too. Some people were like, oh, it was so obvious that he was obviously going to side with Seth Rollins. I guess, but I actually didn't think they were going to do it because I didn't think they needed it. I guess it's one way to get Paul Heyman away from CM Punk and Roman Reigns at the same time, and it makes a lot of sense, and I enjoyed it, and it was great. It was fantastic, and again, Seth Rollins digs the knife a little bit deeper into Roman Reigns about him not beating him yet again. But now I think we are on a crash course to SummerSlam for Roman versus Seth Rollins. At first, people were talking about CM Punk versus Roman. I kind of want to see Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam instead. So night one overall was good. You had people complaining, saying this is horrible. Triple H, what the fuck are you doing? You suck at your job. All this shit. I don't think so. Night one wasn't the greatest WrestleMania of all time. The matches were solid. I don't think a lot of them were WrestleMania worthy. And I think that felt that way because of the builds to most of these. And I feel like something that was missing was just it didn't have those WrestleMania moments that they always talk about where throughout the show you get these nice historic moments that are iconic forever. And it's just something that makes it special. This just felt like a regular PLE versus night one of WrestleMania, if that makes sense. Other than really the triple threat, I don't even think Jay's moment was that special. Because, one, you knew it was going to happen. There wasn't great suspense when he started choking Gunther, and I think he just tapped too quick, and the crowd wasn't as into it as it should have been. Night one, overall, is pretty solid. Like, it's not the worst, and the matches itself were solid. It's just the story kind of hurt the build to a lot of this. And then we go into night two, where we get another triple threat match back-to-back, where I almost felt for the women here because I was like, damn, that's really tough to follow. It's the same exact match, just the opening match of night two. And they shut me up so quick. I was super confident in them, but I had my doubts, and they wiped that away so fast. This is one of the greatest opening matches in WrestleMania history, by far. This match is fantastic. It had everything. It even had really cool entrances. Rhea Ripley coming out looking like the Batman who laughs. I love that. I love Batman and all that shit. And I just love Rhea. So fantastic for me. Bianca came out to some heavy boos, which still I think is so funny because it's just people were claiming that Europe was just racist and the crowd just doesn't like Bianca right now, I guess. I don't know what it is. She deserves to be there. I just think her character just needs something different. It's been the same thing for a very long time. She needs something different, and this is her way. This is her alley right now if they want to go that route. It's right there to just take it and just go for it. People will like it. This match was fantastic. This match flowed so nicely. One thing I feel like about the women is it feels a little more choreographed, and I feel like watching them do this did not feel that way at all. The match just flowed nicely. Again, didn't feel like they were waiting for spots. Didn't do, again, the shit that I was talking about where it's like one-on-one, throw someone out, you got the one-on-one again, throw someone out, one-on-one again. No, again, all flowed super nicely. What did shock me, though, the sequence at the end, which was great, Bianca taking the pin. That shocked me. I'm surprised. I thought Rhea was going to take that pin, but I guess not. So, an amazing match. Like, literally a fantastic opening match. One of the best opening matches of all time, and we're 1-0. And then we had Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a street fight where I thought Drew really needed to win this match. I was hoping to God that Damian Priest didn't win. Not because I don't like Damian Priest. I'm actually a big fan of Damian Priest, but Drew needs this win more than anybody. He's been just getting fucked for a really long time. It's time for the tide to change for Drew McIntyre because he's earned it and he deserves it. I got really nervous though when Damian Priest made his entrance. One of the coolest entrances I've ever seen. Having Damian Priest come out to fucking Slayer was awesome. That entrance was so cool, and I really was like, oh no, they're gonna do the thing. They're gonna do that thing where Drew loses again. Thank God they didn't. But overall, the street fight match was a lot of fun. I thought they had a solid match. The build up to this was great, and I was really excited for it, and I think the crowd was too. The crowd was into it. They beat the shit out of each other, and it was really entertaining and a great change-up and something that this type of match was missing in night one. I feel like if they had a match just like this, or if Naomi and Jade had that match, people would be talking differently about night one. And yes, I do think the ladder match should have been in night one too, but that's besides the point. And we had a couple of rough bumps. You had the double table fall through from Damian Priest. Yeah, Drew McIntyre doing the DDT on the stairs where I actually thought he was legitimately hurt his back, and I actually got kind of nervous. I was like, oh no, he fucked his back up, and now we're screwed, because that looked painful. And then Drew McIntyre doing the Claymore onto the chair. This was another match where, yes, Damian Priest lost, but he's not a loser, if that makes sense. His stock isn't going to hurt that much because of losing to Drew McIntyre in the way that he lost to Drew McIntyre. But a very solid match. Great match, maybe, but a very good match. And I enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun. And this is exactly what night one was missing. And then we went to the Fatal 4-Way. I would just like to acknowledge that watching this yesterday, it was 420. So when I watched this match, my headspace was differently. As I was watching it, I was saying to myself that this might be the greatest Fatal 4-Way I've ever seen. It probably is not true. Everybody had their moment in the match. Even the entrances were cool. Even Finn Balor had a cool entrance. Some people were making fun of it. I thought it was pretty sick. So I don't know what the hate is with Finn Balor. That was, to me, one of the most entertaining Fatal 4-Ways of all time. Again, the match flow was great. Braun Breaker is a fucking beast and still looked amazing throughout the whole thing. Spearing everybody, spearing Carlito from one table to another. I loved the chemistry between Finn and Dom throughout the match. They weren't hitting each other. They weren't fighting each other. They were really helping each other, working together to try to just beat the other two. But then, of course, Dirty Dom has to do Dirty Dom things and turn on Finn because he was selfish and wanted to win for himself. And that's where things really picked up. Braun was great. Penta was great. Finn was great. But I think the MVP of maybe night two overall was Dominic Mysterio. I thought he was fantastic throughout the entire match, and I was rooting for him the entire time. So to see him do the frog splash, hit Finn Balor, pin him 1, 2, 3 for becoming the Intercontinental Champion, the crowd was going absolutely ballistic. Dom might be the most over character in professional wrestling right now. He could really take advantage of a lot, and I'm so happy he won. He deserved that moment, and I like that he left the ring, but then realized like how big of a moment this truly was, and ran right back into the ring to a huge ovation, and he deserved that WrestleMania moment. That is what I'm saying with WrestleMania moments. People cared way more about that than Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship. That match was fantastic. Night two was on fire. I'm also undefeated by this point in my picks for night two. And then we had Randy Orton versus the mystery opponent. You didn't really know what they were going to do. They had so many options, but one option that not a lot of people were talking about was the possibility of Joe Hendry. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I absolutely loved it. This, again, back-to-back WrestleMania moments. This is a historic moment, not only for Joe Hendry, but for TNA, because when has another promotion been featured at WrestleMania? The crowd there loved it. I freaking love Joe Hendry. So to see that moment, I was incredibly happy for him because he is doing his damn thing as TNA champion. And he said it himself. He's not like other champions in TNA where they are required to basically put on match after match. And his job as champion is to get as many eyes on TNA as possible. And he has brought it to the point where he was able to get to WrestleMania. It's unfortunate we couldn't get Randy versus Kevin Owens. But, I mean, this was just a fun segment. This was a fun little match, and I think it was fantastic. And it was incredible to see Joe Hendry and that crowd go absolutely nuts. The match was nothing special, but it was exactly what it needed to be, to just be a moment in time. And to top it all off, we got one of the best RKOs of all time, and I thought it was just so funny. Joe Hendry did his little Joe Hendry spin, but he sold it so well because he kept staring at the camera. He didn't flinch or anything like that when Randy came, so it looked legitimately out of nowhere. That is a meme forever. So what Joe Hendry just did, not only was it historic, but it's a moment that will live on forever because of meme culture and all the shit that goes on with that. Like, this is legitimately one of the best RKOs they've ever done. This is going to be talked about forever. You have people on Twitter talking about, they fucking buried TNA. People do not understand what a burial is. People also said that he got squashed. He didn't get squashed. People don't understand wrestling terms, and it pisses me off to no end. They did not bury TNA. TNA just got featured at WrestleMania. Are you kidding me? That's exactly what you need. You don't need it to be anything else. And you really don't want a guy like Joe Hendry keeping it close with Randy Orton. You just don't. I love this entire segment. I thought it was super fun. And Randy was having fun. And you could tell he was having fun. And it was just a moment in time and something that's going to live on forever because it was history. TNA does not hurt from this at all. And honestly, what did you really want them to do? I wanted it to be Nick Aldis. It sucks that it wasn't. I'm happy it wasn't a returning star like Rusev or Aleister Black or anything like that, or even somebody else, because Why have them return at WrestleMania if everybody wanted Randy Orton to win? Because he hasn't won in a singles match pay-per-view in so long. So why waste it? Just have the moment and then move on. It's just what it is. It's just unfortunate that Kevin Owens got hurt. There's no build anyway, so what is the difference? It doesn't matter. Randy Orton gets a win at WrestleMania. Nobody has to suffer in WWE. TNA gets some nice spotlight with their star, Joe Hendry. And now even more people know who Joe Hendry is. It's a win-win for everybody, a great moment in time, and we got one of the best RKOs ever. I loved this segment. I thought this was 10 out of 10. I enjoyed this a lot. And we're 4-0 in the night. Just want to say that. And then we got to Logan Paul versus AJ Styles, and this was a match I wasn't super excited for, and I just think it wasn't that super interesting. And again, AJ Styles with a laundry list of just the weirdest WrestleMania matches ever. Still, to this day, his best match probably being against Shane McMahon or LA Knight, which is crazy, considering who he's gone up against. To my surprise, this match wasn't great. I thought this was Logan Paul's maybe his worst match. The match was still fine. It just wasn't what it could have been. But what I did like, and my favorite part of this entire match, was the pop for Karrion Kross, who I'm a huge fan of. But to have him part of that and to try to get AJ to use the brass knuckles and be that devil on his shoulder, where AJ says no, he throws the brass knuckles and ends up losing to Logan Paul, which I said, by the way. This puts Karrion Kross in an angle and for something big after this, which I loved. And I thought the whole point of this match really was for Karrion Kross. I'm really being hopeful for it. I didn't really see what else there was to do, and it really sucks that AJ had to suffer losing to Logan Paul, but I hope it's for a good reason. And if you haven't seen it, Karrion Kross cuts a promo after WrestleMania. It's all over Twitter. Please go watch it, because this is the making of a star. I'm just going to say it now. This is like that Miz promo on Talking Smack, where this could be the promo that has a star in the making, where we finally get something interesting where Karrion Kross can really work, because the man can talk. Now we just got to get him an interesting story where his matches are interesting, because people are like, he's like whatever in the ring, though. It's like, yeah, he's whatever in the ring because nobody cares about what he's doing. Because there are worse guys competing right now than Karrion Kross that are in interesting storylines, and people like them because their storylines are interesting. He's been in a useless faction forever, fighting against other useless factions, and no one cares, and he just keeps losing. Now's the time to push Karrion Kross. I'm here for it. Karrion Kross for World Heavyweight Champion in 2026. You heard it here first. And then we had Liv and Raquel versus Lyra, Valkyrie, and a mystery opponent once again. It's crazy to know now that Bayley was pulled from this card because of Becky Lynch. At first, like when we didn't know who it was, I heard the rumblings that possibly it was Becky Lynch. And as soon as I heard that, I said, great, my undefeated streak is over, and let's all just go home, because there's absolutely no way if Becky returns, they're going to win. I was so confident that Liv and Raquel were going to win. And then the man's music hit. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Becky. I think she's great. She's one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. She just is. Something that's a trend on Twitter is whenever someone wins for at least a couple times, they start with this bullshit where it's just the wrestler's name and then you insert Hogan. So, like, I've seen Sammy Hogan. I've seen Bailey Hogan. I've seen Cody Hogan. This was the first time where I actually agreed where Becky Hogan arrived. As soon as her music hit, I was pissed because I knew I was screwed. And that's exactly what happened. Becky Lynch returned. LOL, Becky Lynch wins. This is like super Becky. I hope that Bayley turns heel, or Bayley does something, or this creates an angle where Bayley's pissed off at Becky for taking her spot at WrestleMania. Bayley was locked in, and then out of nowhere, she just wasn't. And it's not because she was actually injured. In real life, she's fine. They just moved her off the card for Becky, which I think is fucking crazy. I was undefeated up to that point. But if I knew that Becky Lynch was going to be part of it, I would have said Becky 100 times out of 100. But I didn't like that at all. I hope people boo the fuck out of Becky Lynch. And then we have the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I don't know whose fucking idea it was to do this match the way it was. Listen to me before you speak, or before you comment, or before you... actually, just... listen. I am not enjoying John Cena's heel turn. I've said that before. What I did like was John Cena coming out to a blank screen just with John Cena in like that like end of movie Finn type of like roll credits. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Cody Rhodes comes out with a really sick helmet, and in the middle of Cody Rhodes' entrance in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania, we get a fucking ad. What the fuck? What was with the ads in this show? Because that was another thing that just annoyed the shit out of me. You have all these ads, and tickets are $1,000 to sit next to Eddie Guerrero and watch WrestleMania in the stadium. I don't understand that. It makes no fucking sense. How do you have an ad in the middle of your main champion's fucking entrance in the main event of WrestleMania? That's crazy. That pissed me off, and that just set me off for the rest of the night. I wasn't going into this match expecting a fucking 5-star classic masterpiece, but I was expecting a lot more. Storyline wise, it makes sense. When John Cena goes on a rage and tells you to the fans, you're not getting shit. I'm going to ruin professional wrestling. I'm going to do all this shit and just ruin WWE. That sounds good, but visually speaking for a viewer, that sucks because he did exactly what he said he was going to do, but it just isn't portrayed nicely at all. Like, it's bad to watch. No one's going to ever want to watch this main event ever again. I thought the match was like okay, and I was waiting for it to get to that like second gear, that third gear, and it was just the most basic TV match I've ever watched. And John Cena did like the bare minimum. John Cena was moving like 2005 Hulk Hogan. So my argument to this is, because he even said, he's like, I'm not even going to wrestle you and beat you. Okay, cool. You could still make it interesting. And John Cena just calling out spots to the heavens. Like, everybody can hear him and see what he's saying. That's ridiculous. The match was just boring. Like, not in a good way, not even a good storytelling way. Like, no one is going to ever watch this match back. And if you are, you're fucking weird. It's just what it is. And then we get near the end, and Travis Scott's music's playing. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless for the wrong reasons for this match. We get to the end, Travis Scott's music's playing, he comes out, takes forever to get down to the fucking stage, and we're like, okay, here we go now. This is where Triple H is talking about, this is going to be a match that's talked about for years to come. We're going to get so many moments in this match, and all this promotion for how big this match is, the old good guy versus the new good guy, like the new face versus the old face of the company. We're going to get all this shit. We're going to get historic moments. We're going to get all this, and all we got was Travis Scott coming down to the ring and helping John Cena win his 17th title. No Rock, no explanation for shit, no nothing. And there's going to be that fucking nerd. That was actually the whole point of the story and why he's doing exactly what he's doing. It's just a bad match. That's what it is. You could do all that and it'd still be good. What truly hurt this on top of everything else is The Rock never showed up. The Rock orchestrated the biggest angle in professional wrestling history. The good guy of 20 plus years turning heel. To not show up at WrestleMania, your biggest show of the entire year, absolutely ridiculous. I love The Rock. He is my favorite wrestler of all time. But to be part of it, to be mentioned one time from Cody Rhodes, to not show up again, to not even really acknowledge anything. Like, you're not even on social media talking about it. What the fuck? That match was a dud. I'm happy that John Cena won his 17th title, but I feel like most people are happy he won, but at like what cost? He won and I didn't even care. And it was just like, all right, that was it. He's proving the point, which I get. When this is over, John Cena is retired. He's done for good. Who's going to want to watch this back and be like, oh, like you're going to tell your kids like, this is how I watched my favorite wrestler win his 17th title. He broke the thing. And that's it. That's all that happened. I hope that there's some big shit coming the rest of the year because this sucked. I didn't enjoy this match at all. And the fact that John Cena won his 17th world title, breaking Ric Flair's record, with the help of Travis Scott, of all fucking people. If Travis Scott was like Logan Paul, or like it was just somebody else that was actually involved in all of this shit, or just a wrestler or something, if it was Seth Rollins, this would all make sense. I would feel completely different. But Travis Scott hasn't even said a word. The only thing he's done is have that annoying fucking song, Fiend, play for 8 months. And then he debuted on the Raw on Netflix, just happened to be friends with The Rock and come out when John Cena turned heel and smacked the shit out of Cody Rhodes. And that was it. And then, of course, they're building up the receipts coming. And something big's going to happen. We all were like, I hope Cody just punched him in the face. All he did was a crossroads. It's like, come on. The most useless person possible to help John Cena win. You can't even build off that because Travis Scott is nobody in wrestling. That ending for that it sucks. And that's how it's going to be remembered. And it's just, that's what it is. And that's WrestleMania 41. Do I think it was the worst main event of all time? No, it's not. John Cena versus The Miz exists. There's plenty of Hulk Hogan matches that exist. It's top 10 worst though. I'll give it that. But the worst? No, definitely not. Cody Rhodes ended Roman Reigns' 316-day reign in fantastic fashion last year. And this year, that same guy loses to John Cena by getting kicked in the balls with the help of Travis Scott. I didn't enjoy this, but you have people coming out here saying that WrestleMania 41 is the worst WrestleMania of all time, top 5 worst WrestleManias of all time. Shut the fuck up. You guys were not in the trenches, bro. I'm telling you, there are some really bad WrestleManias out there, and this is not one of them. A lot of these matches are really solid. Like, more than half this card was good. So to sit there and tell me that it's bad like that, like one of the worst of all time, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, no. You're basing it off the one main event, and that's not the whole show. Because if you watch it that way, it's stupid. This show, I'll give it probably a 6 out of 10, maybe a 5.5 out of 10. It's very, like, above, like, slightly above mid, but it's not the worst. I enjoyed most of the show. The main event did annoy the shit out of me. There's a couple of not great matches. I feel like there was a lot of missing stuff that could have helped this card a lot. One, the ladder match. And I just feel like they missed a lot of WrestleMania moments in night 1, which I think would have helped overall everything. Even if you took one of the matches from night 2 and put it in night 1, I think we have a completely different conversation. You make the Fatal 4-Way the opening match of night 1, we are having a way different conversation right now. I guarantee you were having a different conversation because that sets the tone. I don't think the Jey Uso match set the tone. I enjoyed this WrestleMania. It's definitely rewatchable. I would skip a couple things. We only got 2 wrong on our picks. Just want to say that. Just acknowledge that we are pretty fucking good. Acknowledge me. But let me know what you thought about the main events. Let me know what you think about the overall show and just what you thought about it. I thought it was great. I thought the setting was fantastic. I loved the little blur things that came down. That was really cool. There's a really cool shot of Roman standing there with his father in the background on one of the things. Awesome shot. We witnessed probably the greatest triple threat match of all time and one of the best Fatal 4-Ways ever. It's not as bad as everybody's thinking it is. People are overhating it and overreacting, but that's just what people do.